Hello, guys.
Hello, hello.
I'm here with my friend Kazuya, and before anyone asks, this is not breaking the non-disclosure agreement for this game. We're allowed to talk about our impressions, and we're allowed to post screenshots. There won't be any audio or video, just all screenshots. And if you're
There
wondering what,
might be a smidget of audio on my end, considering I'm playing it in the background, but I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. Unless you strain your ears, you won't really hear anything.
exactly,
So,
and if you're wondering what game we're talking about, A Realm Reborn, Final Fantasy XIV.
your mom reborn.
It just recently went into Phase 3 of the beta, and Phase 4 will come out, I believe, by almost the day of its release. We're just here to talk about our impressions because we've both played it. I brought Kazuya in because he's playing it on the PlayStation 3 version, so he'll be able to give you a PS3 impression.
Oh yeah. Well, so far it's just been fantastic all around. I'm sure there's not much of a difference between the two besides controls and the ability to type, but it really just depends on what it depends on what you're looking for. My computer could not run this game, so this is a good backup plan towards it. Otherwise, I probably would be on PC, but because on PC, you can set up your joypads and you can pretty much do whatever. Plus, you have a keyboard, so you can type, and you don't have to do charades with gestures like, "Oh, Timmy's sound the well. Let me join the party." Sort of a thing.
Yes, exactly. He's playing on the PS3 version right now, and I'm playing it on the PC. But the good news is, the good news is, whatever platform you pick it on, they've recently released this Phase 3 beta for one main reason, and that is the cross-platform play. And if you don't know what cross-platform play means, it basically means PS3 users and PC players can play together.
Sure
So,
does.
so if you guys were lucky enough to get into this beta, I hope you're enjoying it because this isn't an impressions video because, like I said, we're only allowed to give our impressions of the game. We're not allowed to talk about it. Sadly, even though we're playing it right now.
Yes, and it is most enjoyable.
It is. Thoughts and opinions. I like it.
I like it too. I have
I.
to say it's definitely a step up from what they released initially.
It was. It was.
Excuse me.
I did happen to get into a beta years ago, not during its first version. And when I was playing that version, it felt like I was just playing Final Fantasy XI again. And I played Final Fantasy XI, and I didn't like it.
You see, a lot of people though do like Final Fantasy XI, so I see what they were trying to do. But the problem is, I mean, it's just, why bother? It's just going to be a prettier Final Fantasy XI. Then it just didn't sell. People just wanted to, I guess, stick with Final Fantasy XI instead of having to buy all new game.
Exactly.
Same sort of controls, but with this, they changed up the battle system. The only problem that I really had is your TP meter. It doesn't it refills way too easily. Like I could just sit here and spam special attacks over and over, and not get nervous about anything. So
Exactly. The combat system, it's not. Like you're right. It's not action based like the other MMOs that are out there, like Guild Wars 2 and Dragon's Prophet. It feels more. I don't know if you've ever played Rift.
I personally haven't.
Yeah, it's kind of got this mixture of action based, but you're still pressing a button. Like every time when you level up, sometimes you'll gain a new skill, depending on what class you play. And each skill is coordinated to the keys 1, 2, 3, 4. And you've still got your normal attack, which you just right click on a monster and your guy will attack. And you can move around on the monster, but you'll mostly be focusing on your skills. Like you'll combo from key 1 to maybe 3 to 2 to whatever you like.
Right.
And it does have like a cooldown limit on the skills, but nothing too serious that doesn't make you feel impatient.
And actually, that's also another thing that's kind of different about the PlayStation version. For the PlayStation version, the setup's a little different considering you have like the D-pad to switch through your things. You hold in the R2 trigger, and you can either push triangle, square, circle, X, or left down, right up, and it'll do a different attack. Or you can hold in L2 and, same thing, left down, right up, triangle, circle, square, and that's how you access your abilities. So it's more like, to me, it feels more like console based for obviously the PlayStation 3.
Well, yeah, they were hoping they were going for that route anyway for PlayStation 3 people.
So I mean, it's nice to see a menu like that. It makes it a little bit. I mean, because a lot of people are saying it's going to be a WoW clone, but it's not really. Actually, it's not that similar to it. I mean, obviously there are going to be some similarities. They're going to want to use a model that they think is successful, but I'll get onto that rant at another time. But especially with this console version, it just makes you feel like it's not as WoW-like.
Exactly, and a lot of WoW's been around for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's still doing well. It's still probably at top at best so far, despite
it's starting to decline.
Well, yeah, because newer MMOs are coming out, especially this one, and WoW just can't keep up, especially with how long it's been. It's a granddad now for the MMOs.
It really has, but I think it's also a good thing considering that WoW has kind of trapped other MMOs from evolving and doing something different because everybody wants to use the WoW, the WoW plan. And back before then, while MMOs were a little bit more different and like buggy and maybe a little stranger, they were just that. They were different. They were different from each other. Each MMO experience was pretty much different. And I guess then WoW came along. Everybody wants to go with that model, but I feel like this game right here, Final Fantasy 14, is a good happy medium between a break off and still kind of taking what was successful from WoW and applying it.
Oh yeah, and plus adding their own little tips and tricks. For example, the world, it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
the
it
world
really is
gorgeous. Even if you played it on the lowest setting, you would not see the change differ. You will still be able to see it in all its glory. Right now, the way I'm playing it on high mode. Everything is set to high on my end, and it runs fine. I'm not sure the specs of the recommended settings for this game is, but like you said, people that have troubles, especially if they don't have a really good PC that can handle most games, there's a console version for them to play. That's if they have a PS3, of course.
Yeah.
And it's also coming out to PlayStation 4 in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news is you won't differ from your friends because they could say, oh, well, I have the console version or I have the PC version. That's okay. We can find a server together and then we can play. Sadly, Xbox users, you're not getting this.
Suck it, Xbox users. I'm kidding. Seriously, suck it, Xbox users.
So sorry. They're not going to bother releasing it on the 360 or the Xbox One. Because they've even said a reason why. It's because Microsoft doesn't do cross-platform. They don't want to share pretty much.
Yeah.
They're like that kid that doesn't want to share his candy with his other friends.
Yeah, greedy bastards. Yeah.
But so far we were talking about version 1 of Final Fantasy 14. It just played exactly like 11. I didn't like it. And this is no joke. When I got into the beta, I said, why not? I played the beta. I downloaded it. I had crappy on it at the time. I believe it took me at least almost 24 hours waiting patiently for this game to install and download. and then all of a sudden I play it 10 minutes in, I shut it down.
And you also have to keep in mind, like, especially with the computer thing, they, like, require you to, like, sign up first before you can't really even try. Even if you get, like, a free trial, you still have to put, like, a credit card number in, you have to do all that stuff. So, I mean, all of that for just a clone of Final Fantasy XI just wasn't happening for me.
No, it wasn't happening for a lot of people. People that were Square fans stuck with the game. But it just wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. I was not going to waste monthly fees, especially those people that were still playing Final Fantasy XI, which they still have to pay a monthly fee for. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay 2 monthly fees. You're really going to be with one or the other, you know?
Yeah. It would have been kind of cool if they found a way to get the two games to interact with each other, but because, I mean, while it was still a Final Fantasy XI clone, that would have been a kind of cool idea. But
no, it would have been a good idea, yeah. But in the end, it just wasn't meant to be. Yeah. And then, of course, because of what happened, people were complaining, and so they had no choice. They said, okay, then we're going to redo the game again, and we'll make the people that are paying for version 1 of Final Fantasy XIV, it'll be free to play, but it will still have its bugginess towards it. And then, of course, I believe a year later or so, or maybe a year or two, they released Final Fantasy XIV version 2, as it was called, V2. Still didn't do as well.
Yeah. Well, at least the people who played the game before kind of got some closure with it, because they didn't just stop making it. They did this whole event where, you know, the world came to an end, and like pretty much everybody who ever played it had to fight in this great big epic battle, and obviously ultimately they died. They all died, but they're reverend in this newer model of it. You know, they're like, they earned the title Warriors of Light, and it's kind of cool to see that. And if you were a part of that and you're now playing this game, then you feel very special. It's like, oh yeah, I was there. I was a Warrior of Light. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool, and that's another thing. Yeah, they're going back to this game. I guess we can talk about it. They're going back to the roots of the crystals again.
Yes, they are, and I think that is fantastic. I think it's. I'm going to cause a lot of problems by saying this, but I think that Final Fantasy XIV right now is much more of a Final Fantasy than what Final Fantasy 15 is looking to be. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, I know, but even so, I'm sorry, Grimdark, everybody going to Sears and deciding to have bro ventures and whatnot. I mean, I don't like it. But, you know, it's like every other modern game, you know, they're trying to quote unquote evolve by, you know, being the exact same from each other and ducking behind corridors, but you know,
yeah, this 15, yeah, 50, because it was made by the people that did Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, and Kingdom Hearts, I'm sorry, but it is not the end all RPG action game. I mean, what they did was really cool, you know. I mean, it was very novel. Oh, hey, there's Disney. Oh, hey, there's Final Fantasy. Let's mush them together. You know, it's. I know, It was a brilliant. Well, as a kid, I was yes, please. That was me right there. And it's still a fun game, but you know, let Fantasy be its own thing, and let Kingdom Hearts be its own thing. We don't need to like mix. And it's not even like so much the battle system. The battle system, I still think, you know, should be turn-based. I'm kind of a purist, and people are going to be like, oh, but the action battle system aren't the same. But it's pretty much the same. You're still standing in line. You're still waiting for your turn. You're waiting for the bar to fill up. It's pretty much the same thing, but the problem is the atmosphere of it. You know, the atmosphere of the game is very dark and just like realistic, and it's supposed to be a fantasy based off of reality, and it's like everything's doing that right now. But that's my rant for the day.
Yes, for that game.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, God damn, Final Fantasy 13 is stupid.
Yeah.
No
Well,
offense to those
At
people that
least
love
it
it.
had some nice character designs. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 looks like everybody's pretty much the same, dressed up in suits.
I'm not a critic, but it's just the fact that
I think a lot of people's problem wasn't necessarily like the battle system or the character designs, but the story itself.
it was a linear story. And
Yeah, it's a linear story, and the actual like gameplay, like as you're running through, like there was no like open world map. It was just like a it's just like a corridor running game, and I get that was sucky. But you know, like battle system, character design, and some out of the story, it was very Final Fantasy, and it wasn't awful. It was certainly not great, but I mean, it gets a lot more flack than what it deserves, I feel.
2 words: snow and hope. Hopefully that's 3 words.
Snow and hope, yeah. Snow and hope.
Snow and hope. Sorry, those characters I could not stand. Vanille, I could tolerate in that game, but
Yeah.
Snow and Hope, I just even bloody top 13 Part 2, Snow still annoys the crap out of me. And this new game that's coming out, Lightning Returns, he still looks like he annoys the crap out of me. It's sorry, but we're not talking about
No, hey, we all get our ranting sessions during this
we're not talking about
podcast for Final Fantasy 14, but
yeah, this is even
I guess what I'm just saying is they did a really good job of making you feel like this was a actual like numbered Final Fantasy, because you get cutscenes and you get like an actual in-depth story with your character, and you know that's really hard with an MMO. I mean, that's just but they do it right. I mean, there was an NPC that joined my party at one point.
Really?
Yeah, there was an NPC that part of the story, you know, you're fighting one of the bosses and you're fighting him on your own and you're not doing so hot, and then suddenly this super awesome cool guy comes into play and he's like, I'm gonna help you because I'm the cool guy to join your party. And he does, and then he parts ways with the princess because you're supposed to find her.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, but it's really cool. I mean, it's starting to unravel as an actual, Final Fantasy, and I can only be more excited for what, the expansions and whatnot are going to have in store. I hope they add more story elements to the game. I know they don't have that many, considering it's still a beta, but I hope that they definitely add more.
Me too. I think they definitely will. And, what was I going to say? Yeah, and I'm sure, like the beta just began not long ago, and it goes on till Monday. I don't know if there's any raids in this beta, because I've seen like old videos where a party was going up against Ifrit, where you had to take Ifrit down.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's like what somebody said for the beta is like the ending mark for the story mode. Like, I'm guessing not overall, but I guess for the beta, that's as far as you can get, I think. That's what I just overheard on the actual game. I'm not sure how reliable that source is, because I was just passing through and somebody was asking the question, I just put the 2 and 2 together. So.
I wonder. I mean, the game will be released very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be more than that. I definitely hope that they add more areas, because one of my friends, I didn't even think, but we were exploring very stealthily, because you're not really supposed to leave your beginning area when you're still a new person. But we kind of did some reconnaissance. I can't say the word. Reconnaissance, I believe is the word.
Reconnaissance, yeah.
Yes, thank you. I'm. It was a brain fart. Anyway,
okay.
we did something like that, and we traveled around the world, and before you know, it's like, wait, did we just already see every place that there is to see? And I think we did. And while everything was beautiful and stuff, it kind of felt like an empty victory, because we snuck around the entire area. We didn't really do anything. We couldn't really interact with the world unless we wanted to die. But I do hope that they add more to the world, because as big as it seems at first, it's relatively small. I mean, they could definitely definitely add more. Like, I would personally hope that they would add, like, a different dimension or something. That'd be cool, but that's just me, fanboying.
You never know, they may do that. I mean, can't really talk about it, but the cutscene at the start kind of hinted at something.
Yeah, I think it did.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Just know.
You guys can't play it. You can't. That poor sport.
That poor sport, yeah. Oh, how poor. Oh, dear.
Poor sport.
Well, don't worry, guys. You'll be able to play it eventually. I mean...
Yeah,
actually they will, because Phase 4 of the beta will come out very soon.
Yeah, and they'll be better off, too, if they do Phase 4, because Phase 3, right now, the one that we're playing, our characters are going to get killed. They're going to get deleted. We're going to have to start all over, and I'm not really digging that, so...
No, they're not, because considering Phase 3 is still closed beta, Phase 4 will be the open beta, and then, of course, everyone will be allowed. The RM will be lifted, and everyone can actually record and do footage. Yep.
Yeah. And, everybody from the Phase 4's character doesn't get deleted, it just carries over.
Lucky bastards.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind starting over again.
Yeah,
honestly.
well, I'm sure that I could do a few things differently, but I'm kind of happy with my character. I'll be sad to see him go. Me
too. I like my little cat person.
Mm-hmm. I like my little LaFell, cute little guy.
Yeah.
I'll think of some tragic story headcanon where he dies somehow. I don't know, maybe very stupidly or something.
That's another thing which was great about A Realm Reborn when they made this. The fact that even in Final Fantasy XI, certain races you could only play and they could only be a certain gender. Like, for example, the cat people. I can't remember their names, I'm sorry, they have a weird name.
They're kitty people, let's just call them that.
They're cat people. They're adorable cat people. In 11 and in the older versions of 14, the cat people were only female. You could only play a female version. They didn't add a male version at the time, and that's what really annoyed me. I was like, oh, damn it. If only I could play a male version. A Realm Reborn, they've given you that. The races are all, they have both male and female gender for every race that were just gender specific. Good fucking job.
I wasn't really sure why they put that limitation in the first place. It just seems kind of limiting. And, like, I guess they wanted to do certain things with different races and be, like, different and stuff, but you still have to keep in mind the players and what they want, so...
True. You need to keep the players happy, and this is why they basically said, well, third time's a charm.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work, then I don't know what.
Yeah, I think it will, though. I think that this has got a really good chance of doing some really good things.
Exactly. I mean, it's stable. The game is stable right now.
It really is.
And I've had no trouble getting in. I thought it would have been, high-end stuff. I was like, oh, you're going to be waiting for a long time to get into these servers. But no, I got in immediately, picked a world. There's plenty to choose from. And then, boom. Here's your character. Blah-de-blah, Bob's your uncle. Have fun. And also, we should discuss this. The music? My god. The music.
Oh, yes. They got the original composer for Final Fantasy, and the main town's theme, I just had to stop. Excuse me. I just had to stop and just be in awe of it, because it is so heartfelt, and it's just such a... It's beautiful music. It really is. I mean, you can't get music like this in any other MMO. I'm sorry. This music is the bomb, and even the battle music. Yes. That's the classic Final Fantasy 1 do start before
Yeah, they do. They have I just remember. That's right. They do have that. The moment you enter battle, that music plays.
And then it goes into it's great.
the menu theme, which is a very familiar menu theme that every Final Fantasy guy would know. Beautiful. You mentioned the battle theme every time when you go into a fight, a random encounter. The random encounters are just basically monsters, like specific MMO monsters around the world, go up and attack, and then the battle music would play, and when you level up, the victory music would play.
Yeah.
The proper actual music that we all loved is back, and I'm glad when 13 didn't do that.
Yeah, and that was another bullcrap move where they're like, oh, we don't need that sort of music, to make it a Final Fantasy. And it's like, yeah, well, it really adds to it. I mean, you can't not have the victory music somewhere in your game. And it felt like they were ashamed of that. And I feel like Final Fantasy 15 too is going to be ashamed of that sort of thing. But this game isn't like, it doesn't feel like it's embarrassed of that, because I mean, there are several events like where like if you level up you get the victory music, but also if you complete like a what were those things called? Fates. Yeah, if you complete a fate you get the music as well, and if you like do anything else pretty much victorious, it pretty much plays. It's just like, oh yeah, we realize that you like that victory payoff music, so here, sprinkle it everywhere. Pretty much.
I'm glad they had to get him back. I'm just glad they got him back. I don't know how they persuaded him to come back and say, "Hey, could you please compose music for Final Fantasy 14?"
I really wish that they would just do that from here on out. Just get the same guy again, because it has felt like an empty Final Fantasy since he's left.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure he's still doing good work. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, I know he did something called Lost Odyssey, I think he did music for that.
Lost Odyssey, and I believe the Wii games as well that were made by the same people.
Was it
the last story? Yeah, the last story.
Which is funny because it's kind of a poke at, Final Fantasy last story sort of a thing. Because it's the original director too, I believe, for last story.
Same with Lost Odyssey.
Which I really want to get my hands on and try. I just haven't had the money to yet. But I've definitely tried Lost Odyssey, and I love it. And
Me too.
I love the music, and that was great. But I really want to try Last Story as well.
Oh, I do too. I'm glad. So the impression right now is positive from me and Kazuya. This game, after 3 tries, they have finally made an MMO which feels
worthy of the Final Fantasy title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it will be around for a while as long as they continue to do it right. They could make this work.
I think they could too. I mean, the big things once again that they'll have to do is add as much content as possible without like a lot of people like in WoW have been upset with like the character classes that they added and the content that they added. As long as they don't do any game-breaking things, it should be fine. I want more worlds. I want more bosses. I definitely want more story. If they can find a way to make it more character-centric and add more NPCs to join your party and stuff like that, and make it classic Final Fantasy like. I mean, I'm sure that right now they can do no wrong in my book, but like if they definitely add that, I feel like it's solidified that this is the MMO.
Oh, definitely. The big test will be in Phase 4 though.
Yeah.
Because that's when they're finally going to open the game to everyone. And this is right now these are just stress tests with all these phases that they're bringing out, Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. They've all just been stress tests while adding new things to every single time. Phase 3 is just, like I said, adding the cross-platform gameplay, so they could just test to see how the servers cope with PC users and PS3 users. And when it comes out, PlayStation 4 users as well. I believe they'll be getting Final Fantasy 14 pretty soon on the PS4. Maybe like a digital.
Yeah. Probably.
Download instead of a retail, because I know the PS3, especially my store, they're doing a retail version, which is a collector's edition. Sorry, there's a train. I can't stop that. I'll
jump on it.
Jump on train. Okay, it's gone now. As I was saying, they're doing a special promotion right now for both PS3 and PC, which is a collector's edition, which you get an art book, the soundtrack, and a few in-game items.
So yeah, it's looking up. looking up for Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I think we can talk another 5 minutes before I can we'll stop this impressions video.
We'll wrap this up.
Yeah. Combat, like we talked about. Classes, we haven't talked. I guess we can talk about the classes and the impressions that they had.
Yeah, like I said, I played mainly in Lefel because he's adorable, and you have a lot of creativity when you make your character. There's a lot of sliders. There's a lot of different options. Things that I didn't even think would be available. Like, I've always wanted like a certain mask for my character. It's nothing too outlandish, but you can actually like tattoo sort of things. Different sort of things to your face to make it look like masks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. You get a lot of tattoos, a lot of face paint,
a lot of customization.
You can change your height even as a Lefel, which is this little tiny little.
Have you? I think they're from Crystal Chronicles, aren't they? Those tiny guys.
Yeah. I think that they seem like it at least. I think that they're just their own thing. That they're a carryover of the Teru Teru sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can even add the brown noses if you like. I didn't, because that was like the one thing that kind of off-put the aesthetics for me in Final Fantasy XI. The brown things were nice for. But that's just me ranting again.
No, go ahead.
You get a lot of you can even like see what your final class looks like if you push if you push in one of your left sticks. Once again, I'm playing on the PlayStation 3. You push a certain button and it shows you what your final level, like, armor deck out is going to look.
And I like what they've started to cut in, but I do kind of like what they've done with the whole armor situation. Instead of it being put into your main inventory, they're put into a place which is called the Armory chest.
Yes.
And what the Armory chest is, because I don't think we talked about this, but they talked about it at E3, so it should be fine to talk about it, is you can switch classes anytime you want in the game. You do not have to make a new character. If you've made, let's just say, a conjurer, and you've leveled them up so much, but then you find yourself, well, I'm kind of getting tired of just being a mage user. I would like to go melee. I'd like to actually either go ranged or more melee. All you need to do, if you want to switch to, let's just say, someone like a Lancer, because that's the main character I've got right now is a Lancer. You just buy a polearm, and immediately the skills get changed.
And now, are they like? Do you start from level 1, or do they?
You start from level 1. Yes.
Okay.
You start from level 1. You have to level up the classes again
which is understandable. I just wanted to make that clear.
But it's good for those grinder people and for people that like to do raids and dungeons. It's just like, oh, but we already got this and that. Okay, and I'll switch to a mage. I'll switch to an archer. I'll switch to a warrior.
And that is really useful. You don't have to actually make an all new character to get the class that you want if you get bored. Which that's something that I've usually had problems with.
Exactly. And the reason for this armory chest is, the armory chest is basically where all your weapons and armor accessories go, if you want to switch classes, because you'll probably find loot that were made for mage users and you'll want to keep that, and so when you decide to be a mage, you can just equip that specific armor onto your character, as well as weaponry and accessories. It's definitely something new. I haven't seen it in any other MMO. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And it kind of does go back to, remaining true to Final Fantasy, like at least the original few, where you could actually change your classes, and, you had a lot of customizability. I can't speak today. I apologize. Anyway, there's a lot of customization options for, whatever. And feel free to, step in and, correct me with these words, Riph. It's not like I'm making an idiot of myself over here.
We all are.
Customization. There we go. I can speak again.
I can say it. Customization.
Customization. There we go. I feel like an idiot. Anyway, I don't know words.
What is words?
Yeah, what is words?
It does kind of take you back, like you said. Like, I don't know if you ever played like the very original, but the hardcore Final Fantasy players back in the days when you played Final Fantasy for the very first time. You could pick your team, your warriors of light, as it were, back then. Like, you could have the red mage, and I wonder if you could be a red.
Well, they'll probably eventually add it if it's not a class yet.
I hope.
I could pretty much guarantee that they would. I mean, it does seem like, though, one of the things that they... Oh, somebody's attacking me. It does seem like one of those things, though, that they would save for later.
I can see that, yeah. But, okay, here's the, we've talked about the pros. I guess we could talk about a little bit of the cons. It is going to be a monthly fee for both PC and PS3s.
That could be a pro or a con, depending on how you look at it. Square made a really good argument for it, for the model. I mean, because free-to-play games have fallen short, in my opinion, as in the last few years, because, it's basically pay to win. While you get to play the game free, you have to pay for the actual items and stuff and whatnot, and the new content and things like that. And it's all messy, and I personally prefer just being able to pay one lump of money, big lump of money.
A lot of people would just think that, especially
everything available.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, that's what I kind of wondered, that if especially on the console versions, do we just pay for the game and then boom, we have it, we don't need to pay any monthly fees. But no, both PC and console, you will have to pay a monthly fee. We don't know how much yet, but honestly, as much as a con it is, I'll pay it.
Yeah, I'll pay it too.
I'll pay it.
I still wish that they would, make their own little cards like WoW did, but, it's not that hard to actually get a prepaid card.
But they have guaranteed us as well. Sorry to budge in again. My bad. They have guaranteed that it's not going to be a pay-to-win game.
That's good.
You don't use your real money to buy amazing armor from the marketplace or things like that. Honestly, I haven't a clue if there is going to be a marketplace.
Well, I've seen some vanity pets, but I'm not sure if they paid for that or if you actually get them in game.
Yeah, I ran across a few of them when I was playing. While we're talking, I ran across. I don't know if they're console things, so I haven't seen them in my server.
Yeah, I haven't. I've seen them, but I don't know how to get them. I mean, I would actually be even more impressed if you actually could get them in game and didn't have to pay for these vanity items. Which vanity items are a little bit different than paying for a thing of armor or something like that, because they just add something aesthetically, and some people wouldn't mind paying that for a little bit of something extra to follow you around or something like that. But
if it does anything,
if it does anything, then it's kind of okay, well, why can't anybody else get it? Why do we have to pay more money?
I believe the collector's edition that I was speaking about earlier, one of the in-game items is one of those little tiny things that follows you. You know what? I wouldn't mind a little Moogle following me. Honestly.
You what?
I wouldn't mind a Moogle following me.
I wouldn't mind that too. I saw the most adorable chocobo.
I got into the cutscene at the very beginning of mine. There was a cute little Moogle and he was drinking alcohol.
We should be back.
We should be back. Apologies for that slight hiccup.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes right.
Oh, well. It was just a bit of a technical difficulty. We lost connection for a second, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yes, sorry.
Yes,
we were talking about pets.
Yeah. Vanity items and things of that nature. And just, I could understand if they did charge real money for that, but I actually don't think that they're going to go that way. I think it's going to be one of those things where you actually can get them in the game. But I can't say that for sure yet.
I can't say for sure either, but what I had said was before, I'd love to have a little Moogle follow me around. Just being a cute little adorable little thing.
Oh, certainly.
But I think we've kind of gone past our 35-minute mark, so
yeah,
we'll just end it with Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. It's got potential. I've been enjoying it since I've been playing. So have you. And
yep.
What would you say? Would you think it wouldn't matter what version?
No, I don't. I think it really just depends on your tastes. Obviously, comes to the keyboard if you get the PC version and it's easier to get in touch and be more social.
Which does come, I forgot to mention, which does come with gamepad. You can plug in a controller.
And you can. But if you kind of want more of a console experience, like if you, I mean, just because I guess you could psych yourself out and make yourself think that it's a console game, whatever floats your boat really. Then yeah, go for the PlayStation. Or if your computer can't handle it, definitely the PlayStation 3 is a very good substitute. There's not really that much of a difference between the two.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not losing anything. You'll still be able to play with your friends, no matter where they're playing. And I'm glad that Square Enix has finally done that. I think more games should have cross-platform. I can think of one which should have it.
Yeah, DC Universe.
DC Universe has it. Yeah.
DC Universe has it, or it doesn't?
It doesn't. But
yeah,
I was talking about the Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah. I haven't really been too savvy up on that one, but I've heard some pretty good things about it.
Oh, don't let Max hear you say that.
Oh, I'm not afraid of him.
You'll be on your case, like, what?
I'm not scared of him.
Because we've been mostly talking about the Elder Scrolls Online because their channels talks about that, and we will have more. I'll say just to make him happy, we will talk more. We'll have some more Elder Scrolls Online stuff. But this has just been an impression video on Final Fantasy XIV because I've been wanting to do an impression video on this for a while because I've been trying to get into the beta for a very long time. And I'm liking it. I can see myself playing this when the release date comes out next month. And you've heard it from Kazuya. It whatever floats your boat, whatever version you want to get.
Yeah, it really, you're not gonna miss anything really if you choose one version over another. Like I said, it's what you personally prefer. I think the layout for the battle system is a little different for the console, but that's the only difference you're really gonna see. So
yeah, well, before we stop, I forgot to mention this. What does the UI look like?
The what?
On the UI look like on your the console version, like the user interface.
Oh, well, for the battle system, it's a bunch of it has the directional buttons and they're hollowed out, but you can put your skills inside them. It's like a hollow D-pad. There are 4 of them on the center of the screen.
Right.
And you, like I said, you hold in left trigger or right trigger, and then you push whatever button, like X, 0, triangle, square, whatever, and then you cast your spell.
Are you able to customize the
yeah,
UI?
you can definitely switch things around and stuff.
Okay, good, because you can do that on the PC version as well. Because the user interface for the PC version is just you've got the health bar, MP, and the TP bars at the bottom, and the bottom right is the icons, your minimap, basically where they would usually be, and the commands are kind of like these just kind of ugly boxes that are taking up much of your screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't look pretty, but what can you do? You can customize it and you can shape it around, which they've given you, and I just saw a naked guy.
Well, that's a good note to end it on.
Yep, that was a good enough one to end it on. Final verdict, impressions, very impressed.
Same here, I am very impressed as well. I'm excited to see what else they have to offer in the next few years or months or however long it takes for the next expansion.
Yep, and Final Fantasy XIV: Realm Reborn is due to hit retails and shelves on August. I believe August, early August, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And open beta will begin, I believe, just before the release date of Phase 4. So guys, we'll see you in the open beta.
Have fun!
Have fun!